Right, you lot, let's talk Villa, and more importantly, a free signing that could be joining us from Atletico Madrid in the summer. Yes, you've already seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title of the video. We are going to be talking about Mario Hermoso from Atletico Madrid, who has been heavily linked with a few clubs this summer. He's out of contract with Atletico in the summer, around June time, so he's up for a free transfer. Current market value of €25 million, and we're going to break down who he is and how he could fit into this Aston Villa team. First little caveat, yes, I am in a vest top. I don't know if you can see, but I recently added a new tattoo and my arm is in absolute agony, so please ignore the vest top. I'm not doing it out of anything other than pain. But if I scroll over here, you'll probably see me hold my arm at some weird angles as well. As you can see on the screen, guys, my Twitter, my X, let's get me to 100 followers. I'm scrolling through, obviously, the thread that I've done about Hermoso. More Villa content over there for you. But it all boils down to this one tweet that I've done at the end of the thread about Hermoso. Would you want him to sign for Aston Villa? And if you do, where should he play? And if I get up the results here so that I don't misquote the own results, 55% of people said yes, we should go in for Mario Hermoso and play him at centre-back. 41% said, let's play him at left-back. Let's try him out there. We're probably going to be moving a left-back on. It might make sense. And 4% of people said, nah, let's just not worry about it. So let's get into him. If you are enjoying the Villa content, as always, leave a like, guys. Comment down below what you think about Hermoso. Should he come to Aston Villa or not? Let's get into it. What do I think? Who is he? Would Emery like him? So Mario Hermoso is at his base a centre-back. He has played a majority of his games at centre-backs. He's 28 years old, nearly 29. He'll be 29 in June. So when we sign him, or when he starts playing for Villa, if we sign him, he will be 29 years old. So he's experienced. We're not signing him for the future. We're signing him for right now, which could be a nice blend. First thing to think about. It could be a nice blend of the fact that we've signed a lot of young players, especially in January. You know, Morgan Rogers, Lino Sosa, Kostel Nedeljkovic, who's also obviously back in Serbia, plying his trade at right back. So it could be that we're trying to blend these players. And of course, he will be free, which means for financial fair play, we don't really have to worry too much about it, apart from his wages. Of course, he's coming from Atletico Madrid. He's coming from playing Champions League football. His wages are going to be probably on the upper echelon of our squad. But if I scroll over here, like I say, 6 foot tall, 29 years of age, and this is pretty much his roadmap of how he's played in his career. 161 games at centre-back, scoring 10 goals and getting 3 assists, and then just the 16 games at left-back. But he is a left-footed centre-back, just to add, getting, 2 assists as well there. So he is accomplished at centre-back, clearly you can see from those stats, and can play at left-back if needed, or even the left-hand side of a defensive 3, I guess you could do. Obviously, Emery sometimes like to deploy that back 5, but of course, we know what happened last time we done it. Let's not even worry about that Tottenham game. But if I get up some more in-depth stats about Hermoso this season, as you can see there on his player traits, 89 percentile for touches. This is over the whole season against defenders in La Liga. 94% for chances created. When I was doing my research on him, reading a few articles, etc., about him and how he plays, there was a lot of articles mentioning his passing mastery. So I think, you watch a few clips, watch a few scouty videos on him. I know they're just these best clips compiled into one. But he really does seem like an Emery-style defender. He's very, very composed on the ball. Great range of passing. Doesn't just hoof it long all the time. He's composed. He can take a player on and start a move from the back. Very, very much like a certain Pau Torres, who we all know and love very, very much. 21st percentile for aerial duels won. So again, he's not the biggest centre-back in the world. I think, that's where Diego Carlos comes into our starting lineup, just to purely win those headers. And then 18th percentile for defensive actions, 74th percentile for goals, and 76th percentile for shots attempted. This season, 23 games and 2,000 minutes played in La Liga. starting all 23 of those games, with an average rating, a very impressive average rating of 7.2. Now, Atletico Madrid currently sit 5th in La Liga. It's not their best season on record. They are still in the Champions League, recently knocking out Inter Milan over 2 legs, and he is starting in the Champions League. I believe he has a goal in the Champions League this season as well. And if we scroll across here to his this isn't even per 90 actions, this is just complete actions for him. Obviously goals are low. His XG is actually quite high at 1.19. They're all non-penalty XG, of course. He's not taking penalties. 4 shots on target for him this season. He's got the assist, he's performing pretty much bang on with his expected assists. Nearly 1,300 successful passes, which is incredible, with an 87.1% pass accuracy, which again is very, very good. Accurate long balls, 104, completing 56% of those long balls, and which means he's probably attempted 208 roughly long balls this season out of nearly 1,300 passes. That tells you about the type of player he is and how he would fit into Emery's system very, very nicely. Cross accuracy 20%. He's created 14 chances from centre back, which is mightily impressive. From what I could see, he has only played centre back this season. 10 successful dribbles with a 71% dribble success rate. So again, probably akin to like a Pau Torres or an Ezri Konsa for that. Nearly 2,000 touches, 21 touches in the opposition box, only dispossessed 9 times, and he has won a penalty, which is odd, isn't it? In terms of defending, 21 tackles won with a 55% tackle won percentage, 111 duels won, winning about 57% of those duels, 43 aerial duels won, sitting at around 63%, 24 interceptions, 2 blocks, 136 recoveries, only dribbled past 20 times, and no red cards, which we like to see very, very much. So that's Mario Hermoso in a nutshell. Let's look at the Villa players, where he could play and how he could fit into Unai Emery's flying Claret and Blue Army. So where does Hermoso fit into this Aston Villa team? Obviously, as I mentioned, he can play that left-back role. Only played there 16 times in his whole career, so not studied there as a player. At the moment, I'm not going to compare him to our current left-backs because I think it'd be unfair to compare a centre-back to a left-back effectively. He can play the position, maybe we will see him there, but at the moment I'm not going to compare them like how I will compare him to some of our centre-backs, as you will see. Let's look at our centre-back situation though. Alex Moreno and Luca Digne. Now, Luca Digne, although having a good season for Aston Villa, has been heavily linked, specifically with the Saudi Arabian League over January, and I don't think those links are going to go away. And I think it's looking likely that Emery will be happy to allow him to move on in the summer. So we're going to be down to one left back, one out and out left back, which you could say might be enough for the club, and we might look to bring in another young left back. Obviously Lionel Sosa that we signed in the summer could be an option to come in and be an understudy to Moreno, but you want another senior left back in the squad, and Hermoso could fill that void for free. You're getting a centre back who can also fill in at left back, much in a similar vein to Tyrone Mings, who I feel like could be a player that may not get back into this Aston Villa team now, and you're kind of almost upgrading Tyrone Mings with this signing, as much as it pains me to say, because he's been a really big player for the club. So I think left back wise, I think we're going to be signing Hermoso to be a left back. So we look at our centre back options, and realistically the main one that you've got to be comparing him to is Pau Torres. I do not believe that Clement Longley will stay at the club on a permanent deal this summer. Excuse me. So I think it is going to be Pau Torres who's going to be our one left-footed centre-back. Now, Emery hasn't been opposed to playing 2 left-footed centre-backs in there, but for the sake of this, I think Konsa and Diego Carlos are pretty safe. I think Costa Nedeljkovic isn't an option for the future. I feel like Emery is going to give him a chance next season, and we're still going to have Matty Cash, and we're still in the market for a right-back according to every football Twitter transfer thing ever. Villa are going to be looking for a left-back this season. Sorry, not a left-back, a right-back. So I think at right back we're pretty flush. I think it's going to allow Ezri Konsa to come back into that natural centre back role for him, and there are right-footed players sorted. So let's look at Hermoso versus Pau Torres. I'm going to wheel myself over here, make sure my gorilla isn't touching anything because that is painful. And let's look at their defensive actions. As you can see on the screen, Pau Torres versus Mario Hermoso. Premier League versus La Liga. Appearances, Hermoso just pips him, of course, more minutes. Tackles, he's actually averaging more tackles than Pau Torres per 90, I think this is, or even just overall each game. More interceptions, more fouls, which is fair. Obviously, Pau Torres is catching way more people offside, and it's something that Hermoso will have to get up to grips with very, very quickly in this Emery team. Only catching an opponent offside 0.1% of the time, so I'm assuming once every 10 games. That would be, whereas Torres is pretty much every game, isn't it? If not more. More clearances, a little bit less a little bit more dribbled past per game, but still not up to 1 a game. Pretty much the same blocks and a slightly higher who scored rating, which obviously you can't really take into consideration too much, but it is what it is. And then his passing statistics, as you can see on the screen here, a lot of them are the same. He does have an assist, which is one more than Pau Torres, averages 0.3 more key passes. His pass success rate is 0.4 less, and more crosses and long balls per game as well. So he actually compares quite nicely to Pau Torres as a player, roughly at a similar age as well. Don't know why the cats are being like that. Will you two stop it? Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, roughly similar age, a very, very similar player. An Emery-style player, I think, would be fair to say about Hermoso. Where would he fit into the team? Would he get in over Pau Torres? I'm not 100% sure at the moment. I really, really like Pau Torres as a player. But then again, I've never seen Mario Hermoso. I've never knowingly watched him and analysed him for a full 90. I probably have watched him play for Atletico Madrid in the Champions League once or twice, but I haven't been really focusing on him. Something that I will be keeping an eye on for the rest of the season. I think there's a lot of stuff, even Fabrizio Romano is tweeting about it now, so I think we'll probably actually find out a lot of key information in the coming weeks. But what do I think? Would he fit into this Emery team? Absolutely yes. He's an Emery-style centre-back. He's calm on the ball. He's composed. He's really, really good with the ball on his feet. And he's left-footed, which is a big, big thing. This signing for me would probably signal the end of Tyrone Mings' time at the club, which is very, very unfortunate. But I think, is Tyrone Mings as good of a ball-playing centre-back as sort of Hermoso, Pau Torres, Consa? I think everyone would have to be honest with ourselves here and probably say no. But Hermoso is pretty much Tyrone Mings in a sense, but just probably a little bit more technical. He's a centre-back who can play left-back who's left-footed. Yes, Tyrone Mings is a lot bigger. He brings that aerial presence to the team, and I'd love to see Tyrone come back into the squad and have a good run at it. I think Hermoso would be maybe Emery thinking that he needs to transition away from that Tyrone Mings type defender and go towards what he wants at the club. And if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. I'm never ever going to question Emery after what he's done for this football club so far. Left back, I think he could just be used as a cover. I think Moreno's going to be our senior left back next season with Lino Sosa underneath him, and then Hermoso can fill in if he doesn't. If Moreno gets injured and maybe Sosa hasn't progressed as quick as Emery would like, perhaps in a big game you would default to Hermoso. And a back three of Hermoso, Pau Torres, and possibly a Consa or a Carlos in there. That's pretty goddamn tasty. But let me know what you guys think. I think this could be a real one to watch over the summer. Mario Hermoso from Atletico Madrid, a Champions League player to a Champions League club in Aston Villa. Very, very possibly. If you are enjoying, guys, subscribe, leave a like down below, and comment. In the next week, I'm going to have my England Euro squad prediction coming out, as well as our Wolves preview and review. All of that good stuff to look forward to. We're smashing the subs. We're smashing the views right now. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to go and try heal this thing a little bit more because I am in agony. I'll see you guys soon. Be nice to everyone. Peace out.